What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation starts right now. Happy Thursday. Happy Fleet Thursday. We'll be giving away week 3 of RG Premium. Clues will be dropping for that shortly. Myself, Tim Buell, Tasteful Tides. We got you covered for the first hour or so here on GrindersLive. Tim, happy Thursday. How are things? Everything all good in your world?
Yeah, Dino, everything is good. Good to see you. Good to see everybody on this early Thursday show.
Grinding away. 6-gamer. We're going to be focusing mostly on the DK slate. If you have any FanDuel specific questions, by all means, feel free to fire them off. But their slates, their main slate is funkier. It's different. It starts at 4 o'clock and it goes up to the evening. So the 6-game DK slate, which starts at 1:10 on the East Coast, we are getting some lineups sprinkling on through. No Bangaliers. Langoliers is an off day for the Athletics. So, yeah, he was somebody that I had my eye on. I think a lot of people have their eye on with the A's taking on Jose Urena, who's the gift that keeps on giving, right? He's still around in Minnesota's bullpen, one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball, locked in for 9. So the Athletics look pretty interesting, of course, bearing the lead. It is once again the Dodgers in Coors Field. Now, Ohtani took a comebacker last night as he was getting shellacked. He got shellacked, like, metaphorically, or, his baseballs were getting shellacked, and one actually hit him. And he had to come out of the game, not just as far as pitching, but hitting as well. The quote was that he should be good to go, or they're hoping he'll be good to go by Friday. Today's Thursday, so we're assuming he's not playing today. Expectations as of right now is he's not going to be in the lineup. That lineup's not out just yet. Still 4 hours till that game starts, but we are currently projecting him out, which certainly does change things. But Dodgers still have a team total around 7. I know they got locked down last night. Austin Gomber, by the way, he got DFA'd. Wish him the best in his future endeavors. But I mean,
He's getting paid
tough.
$6.5 million, isn't he, to be DFA'd?
Oh, is he? Well, good for him.
Yeah.
I don't feel as bad for the guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's hurting too bad.
Yeah. I mean, and he'll probably end up somewhere. He's probably not officially done, I would imagine. It's a tough draw, just throwing baseballs in Colorado. There's a reason why they don't want to spend any money, but they also don't want to. There's no pitchers that want to sign there as a free agent either, so it kind of works both ways. The one time it happened in their franchise, if you're old enough, you remember Mike Hampton signed a huge contract with the Rockies, and it did not work out. It worked out for Mike Hampton, I guess. He got paid, but the Rockies, it was a total disaster. We did get the Cubs. Kyle Tucker is back. Kyle Tucker is back in the lineup. They said he had a fractured hand or something like that. They were talking about dating back a month or two or something. I think it was
back in June. They said.
Yeah. It's weird because when he was on Houston, they kind of lied about. I don't want to say lied about, but and Houston's kind of shady with their injury stuff too. We've seen that a lot of times. But when he was on Houston, they said he had a contusion, like a bone contusion, and he was out for 2 months or so. He's had some weird injuries and this one he played through it. Maybe that's why he was thinking about he didn't want to be, but he played through it. He played through it terribly, but he's back. However, no precipitation here, Tim, but wins once again in Chicago, blowing in. Imanaga versus Priester. Imanaga, fly ball guy, can certainly use the winds blowing in, to have those balls die in the warning track, but 6.5 total. 6.5 total there. So offense at a premium. Doesn't mean you can't play his guys offensively. We'll do the tiers later on, but I'm not terribly enthused about the offenses in Chicago just because, it's harder to score a bunch of runs and score a bunch of fantasy points when you don't put the ball over the fence. Those points are worth more, it turns out, when the ball goes over the basket in Wrigley.
That 6.5 implied team total does not look very enticing. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, though, but I mean, I think I've got to have some interest in the pitching in that game.
Yes, more so the Imanaga side for me, but we'll have that conversation.
Yeah, but I think even Cousin Quinn and GPPs you could get to.
Yeah, Cousin Quinn. You guys are still doing that bit?
Oh yeah.
Is that Roscoe?
Yeah, that's Roscoe.
Oh, are we gonna get some Roscoe Rockets today? Is that a sign?
If he sticks around, who knows what he's into? Who knows what he wants to do? But
that's his
still
spot.
Here.
Yeah, I feel like he's in that spot often. This is like something he's there. He's camped out there at least several times a day on the shoulder.
He is. This is basically his spot.
All right. Well, we got to hit the like button to get some Roscoe Rockets. Do the like button. Do subscribe. You turn on those notifications. TJ is producing. He's in the producer's chair. He'll be multitasking because he's going to be an analyst later on. So I imagine Spidey's up. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. TJ will let us know there in the chat. But yeah, we probably get some Spidey bombs, some Roscoe Rockets, all the gimmicks here on a Thursday afternoon, 6-gamer. I think, is it 2 weeks from today the NFL season officially starts? Is that correct? Does that sound right? There's got to be a Thursday. Is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? It's 2 weeks, right? Am I making this up? Somebody let me know here in chat. But typically they open the season on a Thursday night, and I think we're 2 weeks away. But don't quote me on it.
Is it the fourth? The fourth, I think. There's a Thursday night football game, I thought.
Well, there you go. Now 2 weeks, right?
Well, yeah. Let me just double check. Yeah,
I think so. I think we're 2 weeks away. Let's see.
Yeah, it's the fourth. Yeah, the fourth.
There you go. Get excited. Yeah, the chat's letting us know it is 2 weeks away. Grinding away. I know we talked a little bit. Are you still are you dabbling in the best ball streets? A little bit, right? You haven't.
I'm dabbling, Dean, but I'm not. I don't think I'm going to get there.
You're just not into it this year.
Well, I'm not going to get to 150 is what I'm saying. You know, I'm going to try, but I'll probably get to like 75, I'm guessing. But I don't think I'm going to get to 150. I started just way too late. My wife and daughter are going on a back-to-school shopping trip for the weekend, so I'm going to have the entire weekend to just go nuts with best ball. So
do they go to the city or something? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I mean, they drive like 3 hours from here to go to like outlet malls and stuff like that. So it's quite the affair. And I stay home with the dogs and draft best ball teams.
Yeah, and that's a big responsibility because there's like 3 or 4 or 5 dogs wandering around. I can't keep track. Is a cat on your shoulder sometimes?
Yeah, 4 dogs, 3 cats, 5 guinea pigs.
Well, are they high maintenance, the guinea pigs? What, do you have to acknowledge them at least once a day?
They are so expensive to feed. They eat
really
they eat like produce like constantly. It's insane.
Kobe beef.
And we yeah, exactly. And we were told they were going to only live so long, but they eat so well they've outlasted that lifespan by infinite. So, and all 5 of them. So,
oh wow,
it's insane.
Shout out to you. 5 guinea pigs. Okay, that seems do you bond with a guinea pig? Do you pet a guinea pig?
Yeah, you can. Okay,
yeah.
They don't hang out on your shoulder like Roscoe, but
yeah, I don't have any guinea pig experience. But are they intelligent? I know the pig is intelligent. Are guinea pigs also intelligent?
They aren't great, Dean. I do not recommend getting guinea pigs.
They're off the list after these 5.
Oh yeah, that's what I said to her from the very beginning. I was like, "This is no more guinea pigs. This is it."
Fair enough. All right. Well, they had a good run. They hit the over, right? It sounds like they hit the over. So good for them. 6-gamer today, this afternoon. We are getting lineups sprinkling on through. We got the Royals, the Twins, the Athletics. Some of these games you may or may not get, or maybe Crunch Time gets, because you get the Dodgers and the Rockies, 3 o'clock on the East Coast. And then there's a couple 4 o'clock games, 4 and change. The Mets at the Nats, Gore versus Manaea. No lineups there. And also San Fran and San Diego Cease versus Verlander. Do you want to give me the screenshot, the overview, as I let the people know that today's first clue on Fleet Thursday is HOF. What could that mean? The first clue is HOF. And Fleet Thursday, you know how this works. It's an athlete. What athlete am I talking about? Let me know in the Discord channel if you are first to tell me. RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Discord channel. Most of them are free. This is a free Discord channel. 1 guest per clue drop. Tell me what athletes I'm talking about. And you get a week free of RG Premium. Football, baseball, basketball, all the sports, all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, SimLabs, everything we have to offer, the articles, the rankings, too much to mention. Let me know what fleet I'm talking about in the Discord. All right, screenshot time. How do we feel about today's slate? What are you seeing?
Well, I'm a lot more intrigued than I thought I was going to be. I thought this was going to be a pretty boring slate with pretty straightforward decisions. I do think that there are ways of getting different, especially with the bats today, and possibly really at SB2 as well. I do think that cash is pretty straightforward if you're still playing cash games at this point in the season. I think it's I think SP1 is really, really easy today. Dylan Cease, he's got a 30% K rate. His walks can get a little bit out of control at times, but going up against this Giants team, I really like him today. And that's not going to be any sort of hot take. He's going to be the absolute chalk. He's somebody that I do think that we can at least match the field with. I think he's going to be around 50% owned. That might be a good starting point for GPPs. I might go a little bit higher than that if I'm building out a portfolio of teams. But I do really like Cease today. So that's like your clear SB1. And then SB2, I think, is where some really interesting decisions can be made. We've got guys like Shota Imanaga, like Mackenzie Gore. Those are definitely guys that we can play in GPPs. I do really like Sean Manaea as well, but I think the Manaea Cease combo is going to be the chalkiest combo on the slate. And I think that there's some merit to getting a little bit different. I like Imanaga today as my SP2, especially given the fact that we kind of lost what was my favorite catcher on the slate. So one of those expensive bats that was making it a little bit more difficult to play Imanaga and Cease. Now it's a little bit easier because we don't have Shea Langoliers on the slate. And I thought he was a really, really, we'll talk about stacks and bats and stuff, but he's one of an expensive bat that is no longer on the slate.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the Athletics as far as a stack too, because they were one of my favorite stacks as well. And I think you got to downgrade them. And the other thing they've been doing of late, I'm not sure if you've noticed this or if anybody's noticed this, they pinch hit again for Lawrence Butler when a lefty came in last night. They've been pinch hitting for Lawrence Butler, and like not even with a good hitter. I'm trying to think. It's like a nobody. It's like this guy just like stands in that box, and that's enough to be better than Lawrence Butler, which I don't really understand. Like, give the guys maybe he's against some lefties. It's happening too many times where, it's legit concern. You know how paranoid I get at my pinch hit stuff. There are only 2 lefties, I believe, in Minnesota bullpen. I think they just called one up. So they had 1. Now they're at 2 who worked yesterday. I think the guy worked yesterday too, threw 20 pitches. So I presume it's still available. But yeah, it's just something to put in the back pocket. And I don't know what to do with Butler now because he's been slumping. And he's getting pinch hit for. Like, you're going nowhere. Like, see what you have in the guy. Gibbons maybe he's against some lefties. I don't understand the point, but in any event, it's a little bit concerning. And you mentioned the Cease thing, and that's who I wrote up as my favorite pitcher in the slate. And that's, again, not any kind of hot take, but the walks are kind of alarming. He's coming off a start where I think he walked a season high 6. Was it 5 or 6? It was 6. It was the Dodgers in LA.
I think it was 6. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the walks are a little bit on the edge, teetering on concerning, around 9% or so in the season, but he does have the biggest K rate on the slate. So there's a push-pull. He's at the second lowest Sierra as well, just behind Manaea. So, he's got a 4.6 ERA, but the Sierra says he's been unlucky with 3.5 there. And the Giants are not a team we're afraid of necessarily. No Chapman. And it's just, there's some power guys, I guess. But on the whole, and it falls off really quickly. The lineup's not out just yet, but you're going to see some funky names. We're projecting Drew Gilbert to be in there. Fitzgerald's pretty punchless. Bailey, maybe Dom Smith cracks it. The power is kind of gone for him. Once upon a time, it was a thing. Even one of their better power guys, Adames and Devers, they strike out at over a 25% rate. So even their quote, best hitters strike out at a pretty high clip. So I'm not so worried. I'm just not worried about the San Francisco lineup. Yeah. I mean, I would just be worried about, just the walks and like beating yourself.
Right. I think it's Kirkwood always says how Cease really just beats himself. That's the only thing he has to worry about is himself. Yeah.
So I do agree he's the best pitcher. I also think it's really, if it's going to be, ownership stuff, right? Let's look at DK as far as pitching ownership. We have Cease at 49%, Manaea at 46%, Perkins at 24%. I guess Perkins is like, if you're going to punt with somebody, it's going to be him. who's looked good so far in a small sample. I'm not totally sold he's like anything, great, but you're getting a discount here. Imanaga at 17%, Verlander at 13%. I'm just not playing Verlander against San Diego. I don't know what is his K prop today? 3? Is it 3.5 or is it 2.5? I'm being serious. If it's 3.5, yeah, it's not like what is his ceiling? A Padre team that doesn't really strike out, and Verlander is kind of
Plate
lost.
IQ has him as a 3.5 K prop.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what the books have him at.
That's what I'm saying as well. 3.5 minus 130. Just I'm not playing Verlander. I do think the really interesting one, and this is kind of like one of my takes for the slate, is playing both sides of Mets and Mackenzie Gore and just kind of rooting for an extreme outcome. And we've seen Mackenzie Gore like bounce all over the place this year. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball the first half of the season. He was awesome. And then he had a rut where he was like a disaster not too long ago. Like 3 of his last 5 starts, I believe, ended in negatives. He was just terrible. And then most recently, he's okay. I guess he's good again. I guess he's fine because he was, he was good, really good against San Fran. And he was good against Philly, pretty good against Philly as well. And 10 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts. Before that, though, he had that 12-hit game against the Athletics. They put an 8 spot on him. And not long before that, San Diego beat him up. They gave up 8 runs there. So I guess he's back. I guess he's fine. I assume I was looking at the velocity stuff, and the velocity stuff hasn't changed. But also, it's a 6-game slate. And, the Mets are getting, and I'm kind of thinking offensively as well, but the Mets are getting a ballpark bump. They're locked in for 9 innings. And Washington is the worst. Washington and Minnesota, the 2 worst bullpens in baseball. And you're locked in for 9 there. So you have some outs, even if Gore is still pretty good. And I think the Mets are going to be, they're the pivot off the pivot off the pivot, I think, right? Because the Dodgers, then probably the Athletics, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so and then I guess it's probably a break from there. So I'm just going to be playing some Gore because I could see Gore shutting the Mets down. And I still think he's got a legit arsenal, and the Mets are good, whatever, sure, but doesn't mean they can't be had. And I'm going to be playing some Mets. And I don't play a lot of lineups, but that's the idea is like one with Gore and one with the Mets, and maybe we'll have like another third. We'll see. We'll see where we get to. But that's I can't tell you if he's back. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. And the hope is, of course, like he doesn't go out there and pitch 6 innings and strike out 4 and give up like 1 or 2 runs, and they're all useless. It's that's.
Do we have any interest in Kershaw today? I don't think I do. Like I get the reasoning. Yeah. I know Colorado's terrible. And Kershaw hasn't been awful. I just lately. Don't think. Go ahead.
Very good lately.
Yeah, very good lately. The only issue I have is ceiling. Can I see him getting you 15 to 16 points? Yeah, I can, but I really can't see him really having a ceiling because they don't let him go very long. So that's just my only beef with him. I think he's, I assume that he's going to win this matchup, but I think there's a lot of good pitching on this relatively short slate. So I'm just not going to be fooling around in Coors Field today with somebody that I don't think has much of a ceiling.
So I'm pretty sure that there's like no chance he goes beyond 6. The one time they let him go beyond 6, they let him go 7. And I think was that the San Fran game where he broke the record or got 3,000 strikeouts at home? Was that game?
Oh yeah, might have been.
I think that was that game because I remember Roberts basically kind of said like we'll give him a little bit more leash. And I think that was home versus San Fran where he got 5.
They gave him 80. They gave him 81 pitches. Yeah,
but the other thing is like no matter how efficient he is, I don't think they let him go beyond 6 at this point. And like 6 is fine, right? Mm-hmm. But the strikeouts aren't really there. Like his last 7 starts, how many times has he cracked 5 or more strikeouts? Nada. It's just 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 5, and he's not that cheap. Like you're improving 1 bat basically. You're upgrading 1 bat to go from Gore or Cease or Imanaga to Kershaw, essentially. And is that worth it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I probably won't do it. If you're running
I'm not
150 and you're shooting for a contest that is 25% up top, like whatever, sure. He'll let him be in the pool, but I don't think he's in my pool. And then Manaea against Washington, the deal here. He's another guy who kind of pitches against himself, Manaea, where he looks amazing some innings, and sometimes he can't find the strike zone. Sometimes he labors out there. But Washington, man, we don't have a lineup just yet for Washington unless it just dropped and I missed it. We know their two best hitters, their two most imposing hitters, swing from the left side, and Wood and Abrams. Collectively, the projected lineup, 28.8% as far as striking out versus lefties. So there is some upside. He's another guy like the leash isn't amazing.
I don't know if I like Manaea chalk today. I don't know. I think I prefer Imanaga at 9,500. Like you were talking about, like getting exposure to both sides of that Mets Washington game for pitching. I like getting to both sides. Thing. I like the Wrigley game, both sides of the pitching. Like I know Quentin Priest's kind of terrifying at 8,700, but I think he's going to go relatively low owned, and I think he does have a ceiling. So I don't mind him. I would strongly refer to Managa straight up, obviously, but I think I might find I would rather go higher to Imanaga or lower to Jack Perkins, I think, than play Manaea at that level of ownership. Outside of cash games, like if you're playing cash, sure you could play Manaea, but
you playing cash today?
I don't think I am. I'm not going to play. I'm not playing cash in the later slate either. I'm just going to play single entry today.
50% Cease, 47% Manaea on DK. Perkins 24, and Managa 17. Gore at 8 is really, really interesting. If that's anywhere close to accurate, if it's like 12 or 15, and like the single entry stuff we talk about, Gore's not going to be played in single entry, right? People aren't playing him. And he could certainly beat Cease. He certainly can beat Manaea. It wouldn't be shocking in any way. Priester at 13%. The problem with Priester for me is just that you're not really getting much of a discount, but the weather, I should pull it up. We talked about it a couple times. The Weather Edge, let's see if we can get a refresh. Get the newest batch. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Weather Edge tool. Clue number 2, by the way, we've dropped the first clue. It's HOF. The second clue for Fleet Thursday, I'm pulling up my notes now. I forget what it was, and I can't find my notes, so I'm stalling for time. The second clue is catch. Catch is the second clue. Get in that Discord. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. HOF and catch. Producer TJ is scrolling that here momentarily. Yeah, so the weather here in Chicago. All right. 20% decrease in homers and a really big sample, 206 game sample, 71's the temp. The wind's blowing in essentially from dead center at 9 miles per hour. Runs taking a hit at 6.6%, so not massive, but certainly I think it's meaningful. We do have a fire emoji in Colorado, by the way, 94. 94 is the temp in Colorado. So, yeah, I mean, it already was appealing. I know the Dodgers flopped last night, but still, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with today. 6.9% increase in homers, set 3.7 increase in runs. So really good environment today in Coors. Everything else pretty neutral in Minnesota, pretty neutral in Kansas City. Not really much else of note. I think the sample's probably too small for the Mets and the Nats. Wind is blowing in 11 miles per hour. There is a boost in runs at 24%. But it's a pretty small sample at just 32 games. Positive in San Diego, 82 to temp. The wind's blowing out toward right field. So a 15% bump in homers, 7% bump in runs. So, again, that's not great for Cease either because he lives and dies on sometimes those homers. Walks and homers, right? Could be troublesome. 1.15 homers this season for Cease. That's not terribly bad, actually. But I think it's really just the walks with him.
9.8%.
That's teetering, man. That's a problem.
Yeah, I know. I like this matchup with him against the Giants. So I'm gonna stick with him. I'm gonna play him even though he's gonna be very, very popular.
Jack Perkins.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on what I want to do with the rest of my team. I'm starting with Cease. I think I'm going to be fading Manaya, and then it's either am I going to go to Imanaga as my SP2 or am I going to go Jack Perkins? That's currently kind of what I'm debating right now. I haven't really set anything in stone, but it's between those two guys as of right now. We did get a question about Patrick Corbin to open up salary. I don't like that play at all. I'd rather, I mean, if I was looking to get a little bit away from ownership, I would just personally play Kershaw. I know he's $800 more, but I don't like Corbin today. It's not like a great matchup, and I think that he's starting to get exposed again. Like he had a pretty decent start to the season, but I think he's the same guy he has been for a number of years, and he's not really somebody that I'm looking to get exposure to.
That was going to be my response. He's also not cheap enough, but like it's last 30-day stuff is not very impressive, and it does feel like, he was having a good year, like a renaissance year for him, I suppose. He had all those terrible years of Washington where they were paying him an insane amount of money, and now I think he's playing for the minimum. He's just kind of sticking around, and he's been a bargain, but it's been falling apart more so of late. By the way, his Sierra and ERA are identical. You don't see that very often. 4.45, exactly the same. But last 30-day stuff's not very good. I'm not in on it. It's that's a good TJ question. If TJ's running 150, I'm curious if Corbin's in his pool just because. Okay, there's a no. So maybe his 151st lineup he would consider Patrick Corbin, but that's a pretty good answer to me. That like, can he get there? Sure, of course, anybody can, but I'm not in on it. Tim's not in on it, and neither is TJ. Big stand as far as pitchers. Anything else you want to say? I think we kind of said it all as far as the pitchers. We mentioned most of these guys. Of course, we're not rostering Jose Urena. I can't imagine Dollander. Lorenzen, I don't think so. Is there anybody else we should acknowledge or focus on or put the highlight on?
No, I mean we pretty much covered everybody that I've gotten in Sims. I'm getting to a ton of Manaya in Sims, which obviously makes me nervous because that's gonna be my big stand at pitching today. Is that I'm gonna be fading him, and I'm gonna be playing Imanaga or Perkins depending on what I do with bat. Like Steve Jones asked in chat, why not Urena? I mean, do what you want. He's 5,500, like Cheese mentions in his article. Like, if you want to play the 1 through 5 Dodgers and you want to get 5 or 6 points from Jose Urena, I guess you could take that chance. I personally don't like that play really at all. But it's your money.
I mean, I think you're being optimistic saying 5 or 6 points.
That's what you really that's like closest to a ceiling. I feel like is 5 or 6 points.
Even if he's pitching well, his pitch count's like 75 pitches or so. But we're talking about a guy with a 12% K rate on the season. The walk rate's at 8% or so it's not that far behind. He's got a fly ball lean. He's at the biggest bail rate at 13.3%. I mean, I don't want to say he has no chance of getting the win. I guess he does. I suppose he can be efficient, but there's no guarantee he sticks around and pitches 5 innings. I have zero interest. And you mentioned Cheese. He says I have zero, and if I could have less, I would. I have zero, and if I could have less, I would. Of Jose Urena. There's no Bangaliers in there, so that does make the lineup. It is actually not the best iteration of the Athletics. And it's mostly Kurtz, Rooker, and Soderstrom. I'm just realizing now that Blade wasn't in there either. Blade is somebody I thought was pretty interesting, and I don't like this lineup at all for the Athletics. But okay, we do what we can with it. Taking a peek here at the Discord, by the way, some of the guesses, some good guesses in here. Franco Harris, I see what you're doing there. Willie Mays, I see what you're doing there. Dwight Clark, I see what you're doing there as well. But it's not Darrell Rivas or Randy Moss or Steve Largent. Some names being thrown out there. We'll drop a third clue soon enough. But we should move along and talk about some stacks. You came up with our tiers category today, and then it was kind of a joint venture, I suppose. It was kind of a joint venture. By the way, are we hitting that like button out there? Do it the like button. If you want the Spidey Bombs, he's up. He's ready to go. But he's not just going to give it away. you gotta hit that like button. You gotta subscribe. Well, that's just the honor system. You don't have to subscribe. We appreciate it, but that doesn't really count for what we're doing here today. Hit that like button and subscribe, and you turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. So you know we're doing the show on a Thursday morning for afternoon baseball. You know when our football show is becoming, which will be a lot. Always, just assume at all times there's going to be a show live at some point, 4:00 in the morning on a Tuesday. We're talking some NFL DFS or showdown or something of the sort. Okay. Today's tiers board was sides. Breakfast sides was the category. I guess you were hungry when you came up with this. Did you happen to have any breakfast sides before the show? Any of these that made the board?
I mean, I have breakfast at like 5:45 in the morning. I've moved on to lunch now, Dean, and yeah, I'm pretty hungry, to be honest with you. This tiers list is going to make me very, very, very hungry.
Okay, so the chat, let us know your favorite breakfast sides. Mr. Richard says home fries.
Yeah, that's a really solid choice right there.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Home fries are like the chunky hash browns. Is that what a home fry is basically? Like, I'm not.
No, it's just like a potato wedge, like fried. You know, it's just.
Oh yeah, those aren't my favorite. Yeah, if they have, I want the crispy hash brown. I don't want the home fry. That's.
I'd rather have
not even a conversation.
I'd rather have the home fry, but both are good.
Yeah, it's like a really it's it's like a little too much potato for me. That's fine. The chat's chiming in on that. TJ says it's a nice crispy cube hash brown. Yeah, me and TJ are in on the hash brown over the home fries for sure. We can go ahead and reveal the board here momentarily. I did yield to you and won. I also am curious. Chat, let me know. I won't tell you what side of this I was on. Would you consider eggs a side? Are eggs a breakfast side? And I'd be happy to hear TJ's thoughts on it too.
I want to hear also.
Eggs are a breakfast main.
Yeah, they're not a side. I'd also like to hear that. Have we ever had cottage cheese offered as a side at a restaurant? Because I have never heard of cottage cheese.
Yes,
as a
my mom has got it before.
You have to be of a certain age. They
usually go cottage cheese and tomatoes together as a side.
I don't want to go to Canada. I can tell you that after hearing.
They ID you, and you have to be at least like 67 years old. Otherwise, they won't serve you the cottage cheese.
It's like I don't even think it's a thing that's like usually on the menu. It'll just be like, hey, can I get a side that's healthy? And they'll be like, we could do cottage cheese, and they're like, sure.
That sounds.
The chat's
awful.
with me, but TJ, can we make a poll here because I think this is a small sample size. I think both of you guys are wrong. A chicken fried steak with a side of eggs, yeah, steak and eggs. Eggs are you get like the main, which is like French toast or pancakes or whatever. And a side of eggs.
A side too. You do a traditional breakfast with eggs and bacon, and pancakes will be a side.
So what's not a side? If it's the
At
bunch
that
of sides,
point, like toast can be a main too. So it's like all of
toast is not a main. Now you've lost your mind.
No, if I wake up in the morning and put some peanut butter and jam on some toast, that's all I need for breakfast.
All right. Well,
any of these things can be a main or a side depending on how you played it.
So eggs could be a side.
Well, sure. If you're doing a chicken fried steak with an egg on it, sure. I just mean like anything can be a side or a main depending on how you plate your food.
Yeah. All right. So bacon. I yielded to you in this one. You got bacon at number one. Which is fine. I mean that's the chalk. I think
it's bacon. It's bacon or sausage.
I
slightly lean bacon.
Put crispy hash browns and 2 fruits. Fruits is a delightful breakfast. So which fruit could be a main, I suppose. You could just have fruit for breakfast. It is true. Like they can kind of bounce back and forth. I do agree, but that so I think it could be either or. Toast. There's only so much you can do with toast. TJ wanted to dress it up and throw some jam on there, or you throw some avocado on there. But the bottom line is, it's still toast, right? It's got a ceiling. It's fine. It does the job. But and then cottage cheese is just a disaster.
I'm gonna come in and tout my toast again. I'm the type that I love breakfast food. I adore breakfast food is my favorite food. Outside of maybe pizza and burgers. But that's the top 3. That's the big 3. Breakfast food, pizza, burgers.
The 3 food groups.
But I also can't have a big meal right when I wake up. Like I'm the type I love a brunch a lot more than like an early big breakfast. And because my stomach doesn't always feel great, right, when I wake up. And so like some toast as like a first thing when you wake up breakfast, that's like that sometimes for me is as good as it can get right when you wake up.
Well, there you go. And some cottage cheese when you're old enough?
Never.
It's an acquired taste, I'm told. All right, so that is our board. That is our 5 tiers. We'll go ahead and throw some teams in the tiers. First game we're talking about is the Athletics and the Twins. Jose Urena, backed up by one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball. Jack Perkins on the other side. We did mention for the Athletics, no Bangaliers, no Blade. Kind of a coin toss now. Perkins is the slight favorite, 9.5 total, one of the biggest combined totals on the board, if not the biggest, outside of the Coors game. It is at 9.5. Where do you want to throw the Athletics and the Twins?
So this was going. The Athletics were going to be a top, bacon tier team today for me, like all day until I saw that lineup, and now I'm like, I don't feel as amazing. But we have to rank these teams against the other teams that are on the slate still. So it's I'm still kind of like going back and forth. Really, in my mind, they're between the bacon and the crispy hash brown tier. And honestly, I think I would be getting to more Athletics than the Dodgers still. So I'm going to put them in. I'm going to keep them in the bacon tier. Okay. Even though I'm really not crazy about that lineup, but I love stacking against Urena. So I'm just going to keep them as a top tier team today.
I need to update my survey, and I'm trying to do that in the fly because I think Blade was one of my sneaky cheap plays.
Yeah, so I can talk about Minnesota really quick. It's really not a team that I'm going to be looking to get any exposure to. And as somebody made a good comment in the chat, like Minnesota does like to pinch hit quite a bit as well. So I'm honestly on the Perkins side of this game. I'm going to be putting Minnesota. I'm going to put Minnesota in the toast tier just because I think Perkins is going to get some ownership. So you might be able to get a little bit of leverage off the Perkins teams if you take some minis or 3-mans from Minnesota.
In a small sample, we've seen Perkins be a lot better versus lefties than righties. I don't know how real that is. If his reverse splits are real, I can't speak to that. But at least from strikeouts, 20.6% Ks against righties, 29, almost 30% Ks versus lefties. But again, we're talking like 70 hitters to each side. So I don't really, feel great giving an assessment on that. But I just thought it was of note. All right. So game number 2. Let's give out that third clue. We want to make sure we give out a winner before crunch time comes in. And I think crunch time's coming in at 12:15, I want to say. Please confirm that, TJ, if you don't mind. Around 12:15, we have crunch time knocking on the door. That is the correct time. TJ, of course, holding it down, will be producing and giving some analysis, as well as chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. We look pretty clean as far as weather. The only thing we talked about, the wind blowing in Chicago. If something changes, though, Roth will be all over it. And then you got, is it Derek Carty? Is it Derek Carty coming in? I think it's Derek Carty. And again, TJ, feel free to correct me. My apologies. I know I asked pre-show, but, I was I'm still waking up, still waking up. All right. Next game here after the third clue, which is SEC. SEC is the third clue. HOF, catch, SEC. That is our first 3 clues. Get in the Discord. Tell me who we're talking about. All right. Rangers, Royals, Michael Lorenzen against Patrick Corbin. The Royals here are slight favorites, minus 121 in KC. I think Sal Perez probably becomes a little more popular. Historically, Corbin, when you get to him, ready power. That right there is Sal Perez. Grichuk is pretty interesting. I'm thinking maybe some pinch hit risk. That's my one concern with him. Like, he looks great until maybe he turns into Yaz later on in the game, which is kind of annoying. But, that's not a guarantee, but it's certainly a possibility. Of course, Bobby Witt is the prize, player there. And Seager always seems to be like a tick too cheap. He's like, when you compare it against his contemporaries at shortstop. So never mind him. And another one is, speaking of pinch hits, you got Jock Jams. Jock Peterson's one of those guys that's kind of, he's not been great, but he helps make stuff work, at least pre-flop. Rowdy Tellez, same deal at first. A couple cheap guys that theoretically have some power, also some pinch hit risk. Rangers, Royals, what do you got?
Yeah, so I like the Rangers more as like a 3-man stack. I don't think I'd be doing any full 5 in Texas, but I don't hate them against Lorenzen. So I think I'm going to put Texas in the fruit tier. Kansas City, they're really close to a top tier team, but I still think I like the Athletics more. But it's super close. Like I said before, I think Corbin is really just the guy he has been for the last several years. He had a good run back in July, late June. But I think he's starting to maybe get a little bit fatigued here, and I think KC can take advantage of that. So I really do like the first probably 5 or 6 players of this Kansas City Royals. So I would consider 5-manning this team. I think they're that strong. So the Royals are in the crispy hash brown tier.
All right, Royals in hash brown. We have Texas in the right smack in the middle, right, hanging out with fruits. Nobody just yet hanging out with cottage cheese, but maybe we get there with this game. Possibly, I'm not framing. It's Tim's board. It's Tim's world. We're just living in it. It's Shota Imanaga taking on Quinn Priester, cousin Quinn. The Cubs are the favorite here again, 6.5 total. Milwaukee barely getting a 3-run total, and this is mostly because of the weather. And Imanaga is a pitcher that has a heavy fly ball lean, and you think that the conditions should suppress the home runs he gives up. 1.57 on the season. That's a fair bit of homers. 1.57. That's probably too many with his fly ball lean, and that's just with an 11% homer to fly ball rate. So and like the advanced stuff says he's been a little bit lucky too. Pretty good control. 4.7% as far as the walks. The Ks are pretty good. Also 21.1%. Did mention Kyle Tucker is back today in the lineup for Chicago. Where do we want to put the Brew Crew and the Cubbies? I don't think. Do we have Brewers? I don't think we have Brewers.
I don't think we have Brewers yet. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Imanaga, he's one of my, if not my favorite pitcher on the slate outside of Cease. I'm highly considering playing him as my SB2. I know the Brewers have been amazing this year, but this is going to be a tough matchup for them. Tough ballpark, tough conditions, and Imanaga, like you said, is a talented pitcher. So I'm going to put Brewers down at the very bottom in the cottage cheese. The Cubs, I think, are talented enough that they belong in the toast tier. But I prefer Priester over the Cubs today. I'm not looking to get exposure to any bats here outside of maybe some high-end Cub one-offs, but that's really it.
So TJ in chat says, I had something incredibly embarrassing happen to me yesterday. Considering how many of you live in the southern states, 100 likes for the story. All right. I mean, I'm curious. I want to hear the story. I want to know what happened to TJ. I want to know his embarrassing story. So hit that like button, and we'll get it out of TJ. Moving along, game number 4 on the 6-game DK slate. It is the Dodgers. The Dodgers in Colorado. Clayton Kershaw, Chase Dollander. No Hunter Goodman for the Rockies. So that lineup does take a bit of a hit there. It's Freeman, Tovar, Beck, Burnable, Doyle. You got to get Braxton Fulford in there. Kyle Farmer, Orlando Arcia, and then Ryan Ritter in the 9-hole. So that's a bit of a downgrade, I think, with Goodman being out. Just worth noting. Beck and Burnable and Doyle, I think that's got probably the most interesting pieces. Maybe Tovar as well. I don't mind the 1 through 5 here for Colorado. We talked about, though, Kershaw's been in good form of late. No LA lineup just yet. We're assuming that Ohtani's out per the quote yesterday, basically saying we're hoping to have him back. We think he'll be back by Friday. And being that today is Thursday, he probably isn't playing, and that's why we're not projecting him to play. We're actually currently projecting both catchers in there, Will Smith and Dalton Rushing. This can change, but that's where we're at right now. Dodgers, Rockies, what do you got?
Yeah, with no Goodman, Dean, that's going to send Perez's ownership even higher, I would assume now. With no Langoliers, no Goodman, that's 2 high-end catchers. I'd assume a lot of people are going to go to 4K Sal Perez now. But yeah, for this particular game, I don't have any interest really in the Rockies. Doesn't mean that I love Kershaw today, but I think Kershaw does win this matchup. I will give the Rockies the benefit of the doubt since they are in cores, and this slate is not amazing for bats, so I'm going to put Rockies in the toast here. Yeah, so obviously the Dodgers are amazing with their 7.25 implied team total, but that doesn't necessarily translate that they'll be amazing for DFS. It's a really tough call every single day. It's a tough call what to do with bats in cores. Assuming there's going to be no Ohtani, it's kind of tough. I think I still remain that the Dodgers are going to be below the Athletics, at least for me. I'm going to put the Dodgers in the crispy hash browns tier.
Whoa, 7+ total. You're saying that's not good enough for Bacon. I like this. I like the take. I like the stand. But your main lineup's probably not going to be Dodgers. Mostly, it's going to be. I'm hearing.
My main lineup is going to be at minimum a 3-man Athletics, if not a 5-man Athletics.
Yeah. All right. 2 more games to go. Do we have a winner in the Discord? I'm taking a peek. No, it's not Larry Fitzgerald or Lynn Swan or Calvin Johnson, or Ozzie Newsome. All right. Not Sterling Sharp. Not any of the Sharps. Maybe clue number 4 will change things for the people in Fleet Thursday. It's run. Run is clue number 4. HOF. That's clue number 1. Catch, SEC, and run. That is our first 4 clues. There's one more dropping soon enough if necessary. Crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. All right. 2 more games to go here, Tim. We got Taters on layaway, I presume. Yes, I don't want to be presumptuous. Taters, are they on layaway? Yes.
I do not have any Taters on layaway, but I can find some Taters.
All right. Well, where are Taters on the sides? By the way, tater tots, no respect,
Taters,
right?
That's more of a lunch dinner thing. Taters not a breakfast. Who has taters for breakfast?
Hold on a second. But why aren't they? Aren't taters basically in the hash brown family, just delivered, in a different way? It's essentially the same thing.
They're more of a lunchtime treat, not a breakfast treat. TJ,
why don't restaurants have tater tots?
TJ, do you have taters for breakfast in Canada?
I've seen places operate as a side for their breakfast dishes, but then it's a place that has decided they want to specialize in that as a side, so they also have it for their dinner sides.
You don't see it enough in the States. I don't. At least that's me. I don't think. I feel like tater tots are underrepresented in restaurants. It should be one of the 7 standard sides. Bump out what you get. Bump up mashed potatoes. Overrated.
No,
what's mashed potatoes?
That's terrible.
I don't like mashed potatoes. All right. But tater tots, no respect. Big Tater Tots does a terrible job lobbying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So the Mets and the Nats, Shamanaya versus Gore. We do have a Mets lineup. It's Lindor, Soto, Marte, Alonso, Vientos, Beatty, Taylor, Mullins, and Senger. Senger is doing the catching. Their main catcher is on the IL, just landed the IL, unfortunately. All right. Gore on the other side. We talked about Gore being interesting as far as being rosterable, but also he's been finding himself in some blowout spots. We mentioned Manaya is one of the better pitchers on the slate, and a lefty versus Washington. A lot of Ks in that lineup. Their 2 best hitters swing from the left side, so certainly some upside there as well. And their lineup really turns into nonsense pretty quickly. I know they got Dylan Cruz back, but still, it's pretty rough. Mets, Nats, what do you got?
Yeah, I mentioned that I'm probably going to be fading Shamanaya today, but that doesn't mean that I have huge amount of faith in the Nationals to actually the Nationals offense to actually win you a GPP. This Nationals team is well below average, not a very strong team. I'm kind of in between the fruit and the toast here for the Nationals. I guess I'll lean toast. This Mets team, I think, is kind of like a wild card team on the slate. They do have some strong hitters. They do have some power with Alonso and Juan Soto. But I kind of favor Gore here. So I'm going to put the Mets in the fruit tier. But I think that they are a decent large field GPP play because I don't think they're going to get too much ownership here.
Yeah, I think the Mets are really interesting. I agree with that take. It's like I kind of wrote up earlier, and I do like playing a Mets stack. Again, I talked about it. I like talking out of both sides, two-face, right? I like Gore as well, and just lean into hopefully something. We have great pitching or great hitting, and then we talked about how that Washington team, their bullpen these days, one of the worst in baseball, neck and neck essentially at Minnesota as far as the 2 worst bullpens in baseball. Just got to the Brewers: Frelick, Collins, Contreras, Yelich, Vaughn, Durbin, Turang, Lockridge, and Ortiz. That is your Milwaukee lineup. So they're slowly coming in, right? We have everything but no Dodgers, no Nats, and no Giants or Padres. And that would be Verlander versus Dylan Cease. That is the Hammer game, which is 5 minutes after Game 5 of the Mets and the Nats. Verlander versus Cease. Cease, the chalk du jour at pitcher, despite his hiccups with walks on occasion, especially last time out, walking 6. That was on the road in LA. This is at home versus San Fran. Pretty heavy favorite, almost a minus 200 favorite. And Verlander on the other side, who's on the wrong side of 40. So, Giants, Padres, where are we throwing these teams on the board?
Really don't have any interest in the Giants at all whatsoever. I think this is a pretty good matchup for Cease. I know that they do have some decent power hitters with Devers and Adames, but I just don't have any place for them at all today. I think Cease wins this matchup. Assuming he can just have decent control, he should be able to dominate here. So I'm going to put the Giants in the cottage cheese tier. Verlander, he's had a couple spike starts here and there, but really this is a horrible matchup for strikeouts. I think San Diego, for me, I mean, they have a 4.64 implied team total, which is right on par with a couple of these other teams outside of the Dodgers. So I don't think a lot of people are going to want to stack the Padres against Verlander. So I do think they have at least some GPP appeal. So I'm going to put them in the fruit tier.
Yeah, Verlander these days, the Ks are down to 20% or so. The ISO is too high, especially against lefties. 163 ISO, it's bad. The WOBA is especially high at 355 there against the lefties. And, this San Diego team collectively, projected lineup, 16.8% as far as striking out. So there's just not a lot of K upside. We saw Gavin Cheats go double dong last night, probably back in the lineup. The addition of O'Hearn's got some power and pretty good as far as subduing the Ks, just 17.8%. Arise, do you want to guess what Luis Arise's K percentage is in the season versus righties in 360 at-bats?
5%.
1.9%.
Yeah, I figured that would be too high.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy. This is a really bad slate, in my opinion, for homers.
It's funny you say that because I'm in my head, I'm debating. I have to replace Blade as my sneaky home run, and I don't want to be like name somebody that's not sneaky. But I have to. Do you want to help me out with this? Who's the sneaky homer of the day? We're gonna recap the board here in a second. We have crunch time coming in about 5 minutes or so. But if you were to deem, I was thinking Vientos, maybe Vientos could be kind of sort of somewhat sneaky. I don't mind him.
I think some of these, some of these Padres.
Yeah, is Gavin sneaky though, or either Sheets or O'Hearn, like one of those two? Not Luis Arias.
Yeah. No, not Arise. But I mean, any of these, O'Hearn, Sheets. I mean, I know Xander's not a good play on paper, or Liriano as well. I think he'd be an okay sneaky home run call. I do think that this is a pretty decent spot for the Padres. So I think I'm trying to find a couple taters for the people here. It's really ugly on the streets today. I think this is a pretty poor slate for taters.
And you're trying to find a good number as well for the people. You don't
want
to
just give so I'm going to go Ryan O'Hearn plus 550.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's decent. I don't love it though. But I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad today.
Spidey coming in as well, right on cue. Like I said, we hit the like threshold. Keep hitting the like button, and we'll get more Spidey bombs. Wyatt Langford plus 500. Let's recap the board. We also have a winner. We do have a winner for today's Fleet Thursday. Let's shout out Allen's Club. Allen's Club winning a week free of RG Premium or Scores and Odds. TJ is already contacted there in the live stream chat, so let him know what you would like as your reward here. We got Roth in chats. He's asking what we're ranking. Yeah, things to go along with eggs for breakfast. That's so funny he says that. That's a hilarious one. Is he doing that on purpose? Did TJ feed him that? That's hilarious. If that's what he's just saying that independently. TJ, you're having fun. TJ, I see your smile.
I
You're up to no
did
good.
not say a word.
That's amazing. Because Roth, if you didn't hear, I was making the argument that eggs are a side, and Tim said no, they're not a side. Which it wasn't even a conversation. He shot it down, and then you said like corned beef and hash is a side, and isn't that like a main? Is that not? I don't want a corned beef.
Well, no,
and hash
you have
experience.
you have eggs with hash.
Yeah. You ever have one of those garbage plates up there? Is it that's like a Buffalo thing, right?
See, Roth knows eggs are the staple. Anything else is the side.
No.
See, Roth knows.
Explain steak and eggs. How about that, Roth? Checkmate. I don't know. All right, let's recap the board. We have bacon in the number one tier. This is officially sides. Eggs were disqualified. Tim, I love it. Taking a stand. He's got the A's in his one tier, and that's it. He doesn't care about team totals. Tier number two is crispy hash browns. They got to be crispy. Can we just crisp them up? Put them in for an extra minute or so. Is it that hard? I can wait. Kansas City and the Dodgers. Tier three, fruit. We have Texas, the Mets, and the Padres. Toast, the most popular tier. It is Minnesota. This is tier four. Chicago with that wind, suppressing the homers allegedly, as well as the Rockies and Washington. And tier five, your grandma's not going to like this. Lower her volume. Minnesota and the Giants with cottage cheese. The fifth clue was Chomp. Chomp was the fifth clue. Oh, Roth's going to get this one. Speaking of Roth, if you know his background a little bit, he might know this. Today's Fleet Thursday. HOF, Catch, SEC, Run, and Chomp. Allen's Club has already got the winner for us. Crunch Time's coming in here as well momentarily, but Tim, do you want to give the people the one tater? The one tater is good. We're good at one.
That's all I'm going to give out today. That's all I'm betting. Just that one.
All right. So let's go ahead and tell the people how we got Fleet Thursday. This person is a Hall of Famer. So Catch was intentionally done to kind of throw people off because I didn't want to make it too easy. You kind of assume maybe they're a catcher, maybe they're a wide receiver, right, Tim? I guess that's the first logical step, I would assume. I know you were playing along, even though you didn't play along literally, but in your head, you were loving it.
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking more of like a catch in baseball. But
yeah, okay. Yeah, so a catch in baseball or like a wide receiver.
What I thought. Yeah.
But what if I told you catch represented this player's number, as in catch 22? That's what we were doing there. So if you figured that out, then you're on your way. SEC, famous for playing in the SEC. The Southeastern Conference, and then now we know what this person does. They run for a living. They did, and then clue number 5 is Chomp. I bet you we can get Roth to demonstrate. Are you aware of the Chomp? You know what the Chomp is?
I am. I do know the Chomp. Yeah.
Especially when Tom Petty comes on, the people get excited. But yeah, this is Emmitt Smith, and I guess it was kind of fresh in my brain because I started watching the Dallas Cowboy Netflix documentary. I think it's an 8-episode documentary. It's pretty good. I'm really Michael Irvin is a quote, man. He's an incredible quote, just spectacular. He should be interviewed for every documentary. Like if it's on the rainforest, just give Michael Irvin whatever it is. I don't care what the topic is. Michael Irvin is amazing at giving quotes. He's so good. He's the star of the show, at least so far. I guess Dion comes in at some point, but yeah, I am enjoying that. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I don't hate the Cowboys. It's just interesting, and they do a really good job with it. A couple episodes, and Crunch Time should be coming here momentarily. Do you want to give the people a summary? Some people, I can't believe they do this. Some people, so insulting. They don't watch Grinders Live. They just come in. They want to hear what Roth has to say about weather. They want the meat and the potatoes, tater tots. Taking them all the way up the lock, and so they may have missed your takes all the way up to this point. So. Can you give them like a summary, how we're approaching tonight's slate?
Sure. So I'm not playing cash games today, but if I was going to be playing cash, I would go Cease and Manaea as my pitching pairing. I do like Cease in large field GPPs and single entry and cash. I'm currently going to be pairing him with either Imanaga or Perkins. It's looking like I'm going to go with Jack Perkins today at 7,200, but I really, really do like Shota Imanaga for any format really today. That's a really good matchup, really good pitching weather that I'm sure Kevin will talk about on Crunch Time. We talked about Mackenzie Gore. I think he's fine. I like Quinn Priester as well. I have no interest in any of the punts really at pitching today. I don't have any interest in Urena, Corbin, Dollander. I think Clayton Kershaw is okay, but I don't love it. I don't really like. I think this is a really bad matchup for Verlander also. So it's really just those top guys that I mentioned today. And then my favorite stack on the board is going to be the Athletics. But obviously, the Dodgers have a monster team total. I just think that their prices are kind of high, and we're assuming there's going to be no Ohtani today. So I think that lineup does take some bit of a hit there. So I'm going to be playing the Athletics over the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, easier to make work, but of course the upside at least somewhat subdued if there's no Shohei. We are waiting for Carty. He'll be on here momentarily. TJ, did you want to come on here and tell your story? Do we have enough likes? I'm curious. You kind of gave me the tease. I was interested. I had the like button all of a sudden. You said you embarrassed yourself, and I'm all for a TJ embarrasses himself story. Or not. Oh, we're just going to fully assemble crunch time? Let's do that. Let's get crunch time. It's TJ. Well, he'll be here. He'll be here too. Maybe he'll share. We'll see. It's TJ Zwarych. It's Kevin Roth. It's Derek Carty. It's crunch time right now. TJ, did you want to tell us, or you're going to stick to it? I don't know. Do we have 100 likes? I'm not even sure what the likes are right now.
I did say 100 likes. We're only at 54, so pardon me.
Lord.
I don't
and
know
we can't even have Carty
loudly.
unbutton a button because he's not wearing. It's casual Thursday over in the Carty household. What's up, Derek? How are things?
Things are good. Yeah, been kind of head down working, getting ready for football, getting baseball stuff in order. So good, but busy.
Is there like a specific product you might be working on for football by chance?
Yeah, it's called the Blitz. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a set of projections that are pretty good.
Do you have an official release date? Or still...
I think it's available now.
Oh, as far like you actually have week 1 data?
Oh no, I don't have week 1 data yet. Usually that's about a week before the first game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's still a bunch of stuff to still follow, fall as far as, cuts and all that. And, players are still going to, where's Brian Robinson going to land? People want to know. The best ball streets are going wild about the Washington backfield. I'm not sure if you've been following.
I have been.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, I suppose. But I guess for another day, TJ, we'll save that for another day as far as your story embarrassing yourself.
I don't mind. There was only like 100 people watching when I brought that up too, but it's not actually like embarrassing, I think, like objectively, but considering, how many Floridians and Texans we got hanging out here on the show and in chat. It was 85 degrees here in Saskatoon yesterday. It was about a 70% humidity rate. And I went golfing 18 holes, and I actually birdied 18, so that was cool. But I'm walking off the green, and I'm thinking, like, hey, I got to get into the clubhouse where there's some air conditioning. Like, I'm overheating. I forgot my hat, so I was just, like, sun straight to the face. But as I'm walking, like, off of the 18th hole, trying to make my way to the clubhouse, can't make it. And so I start like throwing up into a bush and just like can't stop, full on heat stroke. I had to like lay on the ground as I was golfing with my parents and my wife, and my mom is like grabbing like buckets of water and dumping them on me on the ground out at this golf course, like full on heat stroke. And it's like probably just a average nice day where a lot of you guys are.
Yeah, I would kill for 85. It's, it's 100 degrees and humid here every day, but I'm not dumb enough to go golfing in it. So there's that.
We were walking, not karting either. It was walking.
Man, well, I'm glad you're okay. Heat exhaustion, heat stroke is serious. I'm glad you're feeling better.
It was a wild weather day for me yesterday, Roth, and in all facets. In golf in the morning, in betting in the evening, and then afterwards I'm texting you all night because I was like, holy shit, there's a tornado that's going to hit my house. Roth, is it going to hit my house? And luckily he told me it would not hit my house. It did not. But some of the coolest lightning I have ever seen. Like I was reading a tweet the other day, and it was last night as it was happening. There was more lightning over Saskatoon last night in a 1 hour span than there has been in the last 10 years in Vancouver combined.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Okay. Getting
It's
some
really
Canadian
cool.
weather facts. I'm loving this, TJ.
Yeah.
All right. Tim, anything else before we step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time? We good to go?
I think we're good to go.
There will be a show on later, correct, Roth? There's a crunch time show later tonight, I believe.
Yep.
Yes.
We're double dipping, one now and then one. I think it's at the typical time, but I got to double check that.
I think. Well, yeah, I think FanDuel's slate starts at 4:00, but maybe that's not FanDuel centric. I cannot speak to it, but just
It's at 6:30.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Yeah, hit that like button, turn on notifications so you know we go live later, but we are live right now. It's crunch time. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time, 1 of 2 today. Chilling with 2 of the sharpest minds in the industry. Derek Carty typically wears a button down. He cannot afford one because he put all his money on a delay in Atlanta that did not happen. In fact, both of these gentlemen,
I wasn't going to say anything.
God, I just, it was such a good bet. It remains. It was just the right.
I mean, that's the way it works out sometimes. Like you make a bet that you have a high probability of winning, and sometimes the low probability hits. Like that's just the way it is.
It was
if you
like
have an edge, you make a move, and sometimes even no matter how big the edge, it's not going to hit. And I always like my dad's always been a gambling man, and so one of the very smart bets that one very smart thing he always told me to he instilled in me at a very young age is you only gamble things you can afford to lose. If you can afford to lose it and you're comfortable losing it, then you can gamble with it. If not, you shouldn't be doing it. And so I went a pretty large amount for like a single bet, but again, it's like I was like, okay, I'm prepared to lose this. Let's do it. And then if you win, great. But you kind of go into it thinking like I'm mentally prepped to lose before I make a bet.
Yeah. Well, it just pisses me off because that was a bet we all should have won. We all should have won. It was just everything was in alignment and we lost the bet that we definitely should have won. There are going to be more like 50-50-ish bets in the future that we may win or may lose, but damn, we should have won that one and that sucks. Anyways, we're past it. We're moving on. We're talking about what we've got today. And that does include not a lot of weather. The only real weather notes here, at least for the early slate, winds blowing in from left at Wrigley at about 10 miles per hour. And then I don't know if the 4:00 games are on the slate, TJ, like Washington.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Winds are blowing in there at 10 miles per hour from center. So that is pretty much it. No rain issues. We'll talk about slim chance of rain tonight's slate later on, but that's what we've got. So Carty, why don't you walk us through what we're going to do with these pitchers?
Yeah. Even though we have a short slate, this slate is very different than last night when pitching was just absolutely terrible. We have like 4 pretty good options here. Dylan Cease is the top guy. I think he'll be the most popular. He's the guy like you're definitely locking into cash games. He's really good. He was getting unlucky earlier in the year. That has started to turn around a little bit. The matchup here is definitely favorable for him. The price tag is reasonable. There's no reason to overthink it. In cash, play Dylan Cease. In tournaments where he'll be owned by like half the field, then there's a conversation to do something different. The other guys in kind of that top tier are Mackenzie Gore, Sean Manaea, and Shota Imanaga. Manaea is cheaper than the other two at 8.1K, and they all project within a pretty similar range. So I think you just save money with Manaea. I think Cease Manaea is the pairing. Manaea has the best matchup going into Washington, facing the weakest offense of the 3. Imanaga does have that wind, which is nice, but you have to pay an extra $1,400 for it. He's not a big K guy. So those are kind of the 4. I think they'll pick up the majority of the ownership. Outside of Cease, I think it'll be pretty split. Manaea maybe a little more than the other 2. If you want to stop there, you can, because the rest of the pitcher pool is really bad. I think Jack Perkins is the other guy that you have in your mix probably because he's reasonably priced, decent. But after that, like I really don't want to play any of these other guys.
Okay, that's fair. Cardi, if you're on a DK GPP and you want one of those two kind of chalkier pitchers, Manaea or Cease, which one do you prefer to keep and which one do you prefer to pivot off of?
They're both really good. I prefer Cease, but he will be the higher owned. So it kind of depends on what else you're doing with your team. Manaea will be owned, but not as much.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. TJ, I want to bring you into the mix here. What are you doing pitcher wise?
Yeah, so I'm actually playing cash games today just so I can have some exposure to Manaea and Cease. What I plan on doing today is I'm playing a cash game that is basically the same entry fees as the entirety of my 150 lineups. And that has Dylan Cease and Sean Manaea in it. And then I have no Dylan Cease or Sean Manaea in 150 lineups. Just full fade on both of those guys today and picking and going with the lower owned options. My favorite is going to be Jack Perkins. Twins kind of suck. He has shown some good abilities against left-handed bats so far. So I like some Jack Perkins at only 7,200. And then my favorite pairing, I think, is Perkins with Imanaga. But I do really, really love Mackenzie Gore for tournaments. Like, I want to get overweight on the Mets and I want to get overweight on Mackenzie Gore. That's a side that it kind of feels like it's probably going to be an extreme outcome because Mackenzie Gore typically only pitches extreme outcomes. He's either on or he's off, and he's going to walk 5 guys and strike out 2, or he's going to strike out 10 and walk 2. So he's somebody I want to be heavily overweight on. And then we'll talk to them about the Mets when we get to the stacks. And then there's 2 other guys I'm taking shots on, and that's Clayton Kershaw and Quinn Priester, just for the reason of, like, I'm going to get different, not because I really like either of them today. I like that the wind's blowing in at Wrigley, so that's why I'm going to mix in a little bit of Priester. And then for Kershaw, he's only going to pitch 75-ish pitches in Coors. I don't like it, but that Colorado lineup just came out, and it's trash. And so, like, maybe he just has another game where he just pitches 75 pitches, gets 3 or 4 strikeouts, but gets through 5 or 6 innings, and because he's very efficient, and then nobody scores over 20 points today, and he's up at the top. So I'm getting to it just a touch of Kershaw as well. I think I might have put Dollander in like 2 of 150 just for fun.
Okay, let's go to FanDuel real quick, TJ. Anything different over there that's worth noting?
Let me swap over the screen share quick. We'll pull up the FanDuel percentages here. Much smaller slate. We don't have access to a lot of the better pitchers. And so, like, I think for me, the guy would be Imanaga. Like, again, it's like if you play Kershaw in hopes that nobody scores very many points and he's just very efficient and gets through. But I feel like Imanaga is probably the guy over there.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's talk about the bats and the stacks. And of course, the people want some Spidey bombs as well. Lana says, I've liked it. Let's hear Spidey bomb number 2. So maybe we're there at 75 likes, TJ. I don't know.
We are at 83 likes. So we absolutely are there. Spidey bomb number 2 today. Going with a guy I wrote up in the expert survey yesterday, and he hit a bomb, and I think he's going to hit one again today, and that is Tyler Soderstrom for the A's. You can get him for plus 440 over on FanDuel. So number 1 is Wyatt Langford, plus 500. Number 2, Tyler Soderstrom at plus 440.
Okay, very good.
Third one
Let's
coming
go.
at 100 likes.
Okay, we can still get more of those. And of course, the people are always clamoring for some Spidey bombs, some home run calls. TJ, let's go position by position. Let's talk about some of the stacks.
Yeah, my top stack today is going to be Tyler Soderstrom's team, the Athletics. I like them more than the Dodgers today. Dodgers are coming in incredibly highly owned. I'm just like with Tim on the other team, on the other show was just talking about. I actually rank Athletics 1, the Dodgers right behind them. They're my highest owned, with the Dodgers coming in at number 2. The Dodgers are just super expensive, and you can get there, but there's probably not going to be any Shohei Ohtani. There's a chance there's no Will Smith. I just don't think they're the best for their prices, despite their mega total today. So I like the Athletics as my top team. Dodgers are coming in number 2. I don't mind Texas quite a bit. I'm getting to a fair amount of Texas guys just because I like a lot of their cheap options. And then for the Mets, they're going up against Mackenzie Gore, and like we were talking about at the pitcher section, he's either been terrible or brilliant. Literally, he's not average really ever. And so I want to be overweight on Mackenzie Gore, but I want to be overweight on the Mets as well. You can see in SimLabs, the Mets are currently projecting to be significantly underowned. I believe the highest optimal rates difference for their ownership rate. So big fan of the Mets today in tournaments. Hate that there's a 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing in, but if he's walking a shit ton of guys, it doesn't really matter. Like there might not be more than 5 home runs on this entire slate.
Okay. Very good. Carty, your thoughts there stack-wise, please. Noting that you are muted, which I'm sure you already knew.
I forgot I was muted. Yeah, Dodgers are the best, like TJ said, but we're probably not going to get Ohtani. We don't know about Will Smith. I still think they're. What's that?
Did we just get a Dodgers?
Just got it. According to Mabs, the Dodgers lineup.
What does that lineup look like?
Don't see it yet. Let me do some looking around.
Well, regardless of what it looks like, I think they're great no matter what, even without Ohtani, even without whoever. But obviously in tournaments, they are going to be higher owned. They're certainly not a must by any means. I like Colorado.
Freeman, Smith, Conforto, Freeland, Rushing, Pages, Call, Rojas. So no Teoscar Hernandez, no Shohei Ohtani.
That is definitely a gross lineup. Okay. Depending what the field does with that,
Hernandez is my highest owned bat. Let's restart.
It almost makes them more appealing. If people are going to like kind of shy away because the lineup looks bad. Rockies on the other side, I think are great, but will be higher owned than they were last night. And then after that, I agree with a lot of TJ's stuff. Like I think the A's, I think the Rangers, I think the Royals all look really good at lower ownership than you'll get for either Coors team.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's go around the horn, position by position. Carty, you can start us off with some catcher talk.
You said Will Smith is in the lineup, TJ?
Yep.
Correct.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So Will Smith then is going to be your top guy by a lot if you have the money to get up there. If you don't, Fulford on the other side for Colorado is a good option, or Rushing at the back of the lineup. I think you said Rushing's in there, right? If Smith is catcher, Rushing's gonna.
Rushing's batting 6 today, so he's in a nice spot.
Yeah, Rushing for 3.5 is going to be good. I think they'll all be fairly popular. Outside of Coors, I like Salvi the most. 4K, platoon advantage against Corbin, hitting cleanup. And after that, like it's kind of a dumpster fire. Just you can just punt a guy because you have to, or because they're in your stack or whatever. But there's nobody else of note at catcher.
Yeah. TJ, catcher?
Yeah, Rushing is going to be my top guy. I just really like the salary saving option of getting to him, and he's in a really nice lineup spot. So Rushing is going to be my number one guy today. Will Smith coming in second. I did really like Hunter Goodman when I thought he would be in the lineup. Alas, he is not. So no Hunter Goodman for me, but it's Rushing 1, Will Smith 2. Willie McIver is actually my third highest owned guy here because I'm getting to a lot of athletic stacks. Caught myself, no Oakland there. Outside of that, it's just Perez is fine too, and whoever's in stacks.
Okay, let's go to first, TJ.
Freddie Freeman is great. Freddie Freeman is the guy. He's the top option for me today. Nick Kurtz is right behind him, though, and I really like Nick Kurtz in tournaments. Pete Alonso, another really strong tournament option today. If I have to go cheap, Ryan O'Hearn is the guy that I'm looking to get to the most. Don't mind some Vinny P. And then if I got a punt, I think Rowdy Tellez is viable.
Carty, first base.
Freeman at the top. Kurtz, I like a lot, almost as much as Freeman. Bernabel for Colorado, I think looks really good. And then I guess similar, if you need to save money, O'Hearn, Bell, I think they're fine.
Okay, second.
Marcus Semien is the guy I probably like the most here. You have your Coors guys. You have Freeland for 3.5. You have Ritter for 2.9. And with how bad second is, they're some of the best options on the slate. But I think Semien for just 100 more than Freeland is better than either, probably lower owned than either, at least more lower owned than Freeland, I would assume. And he's in a good spot. I like both sides of that KC game today. India on the other side, I think, is also good.
Okay, TJ, what are your thoughts at second?
Freeland, top guy. But honestly, outside of that, I don't think I have a single one-off at second base today. I think I am exclusively playing guys and stacks.
Yeah. Okay, then let's go to third.
Hold on.
Oh,
I
sorry.
just want to double check that that's true. Paul DeJong going up against Sean Manaea just randomly has decided to be good over the last couple weeks. And so I'll throw him in a couple lineups at cheap because the position's so weak.
Okay. How about third?
Third base, a lot of the same options like Freeland and DeJong if you need to go cheap. I like Brett Harris as a full-out punt for the A's. I like Mark Vientos a lot as a punt today. And then if you're spending up, Manny Machado, my favorite guy by far.
Carty, third base.
Machado and Garcia at the top for sure. Freeland or Arcia on the Colorado side if you're doing a Coors thing. Royce Lewis, I like a lot for 3K today. I think he'll go probably overlooked, but the price is great. The talent's good. The matchup's not awesome, but you'll get him at low ownership. And then Brett Harris for the A's if you need to punt it looks good.
Okay, Carty, you get to take us to short.
Bobby Witt and Mookie Betts are kind of like tied at the top. I would imagine Mookie. Wait, Mookie's in the lineup, right? I still haven't seen actually.
Yeah, he's leaning off
the lineup. He is okay. I would imagine Mookie's going to be like twice as owned as Bobby Witt is, but they project almost identically today. So love Bobby Witt as a tournament play. I like Ezekiel Tovar a lot on the other side of Coors. I'd probably rather save the almost $2,000 from Mookie if I was going to play a Coors thing and just play Tovar instead. Corey Seager in my Texas stacks were as a one-off. And that's kind of it.
Who is a better baseball player right now, Mookie Betts or Ezekiel Tovar?
I think we still have to say Mookie Betts, but it's
but you got to think about it. You got to consider it. Okay, TJ, your thoughts at shortstop, please.
I am going to be underweight on both Betts and Bobby Witt today. My favorite guy by a fairly wide margin is Corey Seager. Absolutely love Corey Seager today. And then I think you can punt this position as well with Brooks Lee in a great batting spot, batting third today for Minnesota. He is sub 3K in a nice lineup spot. So like me some Brooks Lee, like me some Corey Seager, getting to a fair amount of Francisco Lindor. And then I like, I don't hate the idea of some Giants against Dylan Cease either with Willy Adames.
Sure. Okay. Let's go to the outfield, TJ.
So I was all over Teoscar Hernandez. Now that he is not in the lineup, I am not. But instead, I am all over Michael Conforto, who is batting cleanup today for the Dodgers. So I think that's probably the best outfield bat on the slate. Wyatt Langford is my next favorite, Spidey Bomb #1. I think he's an awesome play today. Finally starting to play quite a bit better after struggling to begin the year. I like the A's, Brent Rooker and Tyler Soderstrom. Alex Call is probably going to be your most low-owned Dodger today because he is overpriced, wasn't expected to be in the lineup. So I think he is a really good tournament play. And then some Andy Pajes in the back of that lineup as well. If you need to save salary, I like Jung Ho Lee if you're not playing Dylan Cease. And if you need to go real cheap, I don't mind some Jock.
Okay, good stuff. Carty, your favorites there in the outfield, please. You're muted again.
Muted again.
Yeah.
All right. I think I like the Colorado stuff more than I like the Dodger stuff today, given the lineup and everything. Bretton Doyle, I love. Jordan Beck, I think looks really good. Texas stuff looks really good to me today. TJ said he doesn't mind some Jock, but I love Jock today. He's way too cheap. And Wyatt Langford is way too cheap. I think they're both really good plays. Butler for the A's, I think looks really good. Those are the types of guys that I like. Those are kind of the teams that I'm picking from.
Okay, let's do some home run calls here. We've got 2 Spidey bombs, Wyatt Langford at +500 and Tyler Soderstrom at +440. We can get a third at 100 likes. TJ, where do we stand on that?
We are, let me hit a quick refresh, see how far away we are. 2 likes away, Roth, so we're going to get it. We got Spidey Bomb number 3 incoming.
I'm going to it right now. Pulling up the YouTube. I'm going to mash that like button myself. I don't just talk about it. I am about it. Make sure we're getting this done here. Go for it. What do you got for third Spidey Bomb?
All right, we love the lineup spot, so let's go Michael Conforto at +480 for Spidey Bomb number 3.
Very good. Artie, you got a few names for me here. It can be DFS purposes or sports betting purposes.
Yeah, at the top, Kurtz looks the best to me. Rafael Devers, I think, is really interesting today because no one's going to play him facing the chalkiest pitcher on the slate, but he's good and he projects for a pretty strong chance of a home run. So I like him as an off the board kind of guy. And then in terms of something cheaper, give me Bretton Doyle.
Okay, good stuff. Want to make sure that people are well aware. NFL, it's coming. You get season-long stuff. You got best ball drafts happening. Fantasy Labs, your home for season-long fantasy football and best ball content. Get access to rankings, projections, articles, and a whole lot more from award-winning experts like Sean Corner and Chris Raybon. Fantasy Labs has an app, lets you use real-time rankings, draft cheat sheets, and lineup advice on the go. And you can sign up right now with code RG15 for $15 off. Let's get into some questions. We've got like almost 30 minutes until lock. I don't think we're going to be here until lock, but we will hang out for as long as you've got questions. JB Yankees. You got a question, TJ?
I got a question.
Let's hear it.
DK Cash Carty. Would you go Mark Vientos and Juan Soto?
No.
Or Marcus Semien and Tyler Soderstrom?
The second one.
And I know you wouldn't pick Soderstrom. You would pick one of the Colorado guys, but I want to go Soderstrom.
Okay. JB Yankee says, Carty, if you were playing in a 250-person DK single lineup, single entry, what stack would you play? So there's 250 people in this tournament. It's a single bullet. He's trying to win it. What stack are you playing?
Might be Colorado. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll say Colorado.
Okay, very good. TJ, you have a different answer. 250-person DK single entry. Which stack would you prefer?
Oakland.
Okay, very good. Cody says, TJ, Mikhail Garcia or Corey Seager straight up?
Seager.
Mr. Relvin says, I love TJ's morning face. Can tell he's West Coast. I did not notice any morning face, TJ. I think you look youthful as always.
Appreciate that. This is half morning face, half heat stroke face.
Yes. Yeah.
Still got a little like rosiness to it.
Still feeling the impacts of that. Let's see. Those are actually all of the questions. We'll give the people a few minutes, see if they want to fire anything up. TJ, did you feel more ill when getting heat stroke or more embarrassed that it was happening with your family and your wife there? More ill or more
ill
embarrassed?
for sure. I was happy my family and my wife was there because I needed the support. Like I needed somebody to like come bring me water, come pour some water on me. I had like 10 straight minutes where I couldn't breathe in without either throwing up or gagging. And so like I had a genuine period of like, I
might die.
I might have to go to the emergency room. I might die. Like I need an IV ASAP. And so definitely that part. I was very thankful that like after I cooled down and got some water in me, I was totally fine the rest of the day.
Right. Man. Yeah. And there's a pretty thin line between like heat exhaustion and legitimate heat stroke, like having a stroke. That can happen pretty quick. So I'm glad that's all right, man. Let's see. Bought some time with a story and everything and not seeing any questions. We've got one person typing away in the old Discord. I do want to make sure you hit the thumbs up. I know we got to 100 likes for a Spidey bomb, but also just keep in mind, it's free content. The more eyeballs we get, the longer we can keep the show free. And I want to do it for many, many more decades, keeping this YouTube free. But if we're not getting eyeballs, that probably will not happen. So let's make sure we're hitting the thumbs up. Scrolling down. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape. Carty, you got any plans for the rest of the day?
Just working,
Working.
getting some stuff set up for the Blitz today.
Nice. Get that. But you want to hit a little promo? The Blitz, it's like the bat, but for a different sport. You think the bat is good? It is. Everybody says it's the #1 projection system. Now you get it for football. Why would you not take advantage of that? And there's a greater edge in football because all these people in football are like, oh, it's not about the statistics, it's about your heart. And Carty says, no, F your heart. Here's the numbers. Here's the projections. Here's what's going to happen. Bam, the Blitz, lock it in. How's that?
I don't need to say anything else. That was just perfect.
And I say this with all due respect to human beings.
Yes.
And people. There's nothing wrong with when you know ball. There's nothing wrong with getting a little heart and a little brain in there.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Most people are idiots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean most people, 50% of people. I mean most people, like 98% of people. And so get yourself the very, very best data. And then you can, of course, you can have your takes and make adjustments based on what the data says. You're not going to agree with everything, but always get yourself the best data to put yourself in the best position to win.
Well said, man. Well said. See, Carty doesn't even have to promote his own stuff. We're doing the work for him here.
And you can find Carty and Alex Dunlap every Friday for during the football season for the Blitz show.
Yes, that's going to be fun.
Is that's on RotoGrinders?
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Looking forward to that. Did get a couple questions while we were chit-chatting here. Blink says, Carty, if I'm playing Jose Urania in a large field DK tournament, should I just set my wallet on fire?
Yes.
I actually threw
just
up
save
on
yourself the time.
Fully unplayable, or you could see a scenario where it's okay.
Fully unplayable. Not only is he bad, he also isn't even all that stretched out. Like he's only made a couple of semi-starts coming out of the bullpen. So like, just I see no scenario where Urena is a GBP winning pitcher today.
Yeah. Okay. Allen's Club says, let's see, Kansas City or Texas mini stack, TJ, DK single entry, KC or Texas mini stack?
Texas.
Okay. Any estimate, Carty, on when the Blitz week 1 will be ready? Got to have my thumb on that prop button when the Blitz drops. You said maybe a week before?
Usually about a week before. I mean, we're still waiting on roster cuts. There's a couple of trades that we're, anticipating coming up. So trying to project, obviously you can project out the star guys, but when I do this, I project the whole roster and everyone who could play, and it's all kind of intertwined. So we don't even know who's on the rosters yet. So once we get that, it'll be easier to put week 1 together.
Okay, very good. With that, we have done all the things that we came here to do. Oh, we got one last question in right at the buzzer from Steve-O. TJ, DK single entry, can I roll out Dollander?
I would not. I have 3 Dollander lineups in 150 lineups, and that's because I'm comfortable lighting that money on fire.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
But he's 5K, so if you're playing 150 lineups, I don't think you're crazy to try a couple, but in single entry, absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. Very good. I think with that, we can bounce on out of here for TJ, for Carty, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you later on today. You have been